So, I'm an idiot, and I don't have the footage of making the third clan's camp at all. Not because I accidentally deleted the raw footage like with Wild Clan, oh no, I simply forgot to switch from the ClanGen background to my Sims 3 scene while recording. The entire video file was just this image with my commentary. And then once I realized what I had done, I deleted that because I was so mad at myself. Maybe I should have kept the audio, could I have used it here? Maybe, maybe not. It's gone now though, so it doesn't matter. Anyways, welcome to EchoClan! And this video is going to be quite a bit shorter than the others. Mostly because I got really impatient and decided I would actually play the game. So I might have rushed to get through EchoClan and some of their territory is still incomplete. But let me just give you a brief tour of their camp and I will explain myself and why the camp looks like this. Cause you guys said you wanted it surrounded by water. So, here we are. I can't really make an island in this game because cats in this game simply can't swim. They can fish, but the fishing can be very finicky, especially with player-made lakes and ponds. They can run on ice, which I discovered kind of by surprise. But the good news is that they're close to the river, which will never freeze, and it's much easier to fish there, despite the fact that it's a super steep slope. The cats will forever be able to just head down there, grab their fish, and head back to camp just a little ways away. And also, huge shout out to Echo Weaver's fishing mod. I remember playing with it when I played with Reed Clan all the way back in my Scattered Seeds save, which, by the way, the Reed Clan camp was in this exact same location. It was a little bit different. I definitely did draw some inspiration from it for this, but regardless. Yeah. Anyways, most of the dens here are pretty much just arbitrary. I can't actually recall which den is which, but for me it was just more important that they exist, and that there's a central area that the clan can all gather. I'm just doing this all in one take, so if I stutter or I kind of stop myself mid-sentence and I say a completely different word, I'm struggling to read. It is 10 p.m. I decided I'm just doing this in one take, so here we go. But yes, like I said, just one a central gathering area and the existence of dens, just so that it kind of is more for roleplay purposes. We're not going to be actually playing as these cats. We may come back and check them out. Maybe if I roll for a specific event that happens with EchoClan, I'll do a short scene here, or not really a scene, but just a little bit of roleplay, oh, some of the cats in EchoClan are in an argument, I'll just switch to EchoClan really quick and have these two cats talking to each other and I switch back to Ruin Clan, or something like that. Which, again, you guys have to be the ones suggesting events for me, because that's going to be how this series works. You may also notice some very strange plants around, and that's the other part of EchoClan's territory. In addition to lots and lots of water, you guys also voted for unnatural plants and foliage. And while The Sims 3 does come with a number of weird-looking fantasy trees with spikes and mushrooms and swirly orange leaves and stuff like that, and you'll see a bunch of those around, they don't have much in terms of bushes and ferns and stuff that are unnatural. So I had to go searching, and I was lucky to find Candyraver Sims Alien Plant Conversions. I cannot read the name. Candyraver Sims Alien Plant Conversions over on Tumblr. They're originally from Sims 4. So a few of them can look kind of flat or a little funky, but they work pretty much perfectly for my needs for this clan. And I love the idea that while magic is in fact poisoning the world, this clan's territory is the most adapted to those changes. And these plants are a clear sign of what kinds of changes the world is going to have to go through in order to survive whatever destruction is in store. And as I was looking for the person who converted those alien plants, I also stumbled upon Bionic Zombie, who converted a crystal tree from The Sims 4 as well, which I might place somewhere as I might put it on the island that I had set up for the EchoClan sacred location, whatever it may be, and I still have to put up the polls as of now for whatever the EchoClan culture is. Maybe I've already done it by now, maybe I haven't. Who knows? You guys know. You've already seen this or it will or will not have happened by the time this video goes up. Regardless, the rest of the clan's territory was pretty much the same as making the camp, and like with EchoClan, I got burnt out making it very quickly. I don't know why I did better with Wild Clan's territory when EchoClan has somehow less territory to make. Maybe it's because it was somehow more complicated, like water plus weird plants means you have to think a lot more about how well the cats can navigate the lots that you're creating, how usable they are. In the end, I ended up just skipping a lot of the spawner and herb placement, so yeah, it's probably fine. I did make sure to do the lots closest to the Ruined Clan border though, which we may not cross the border without reason for a while, but I want to at least give us something to like look at over there. Like because we can see a lot of their territory from Ruined Clan's camp. Just saying. We might not be able to cross, but yeah. And then of course there's the cats of EchoClan, 3 of which I made after making the camp, one of whom was a Patreon cat that was made at the end of March, and the rest I made not long before writing this little script out. So instead of dividing the cats by when I made them, let's just go over all of them right now. I'll go ahead and talk about Mousepaw here, because I don't have any video footage of me making her, because she was a Patreon cat. She was submitted by Noah W. over on my Patreon as one of the monthly submissions that all paid members have access to. So if that's something that interests you, feel free to join. By the time this video comes out, there's probably some changes already made to most of the tiers, but the $1 tier will always have access to cat submissions. The current Fate in Your Paws exclusive forum I might close by the time the series properly begins, because there are so many cats on it, and there's already people asking, like, hey, when are you gonna get to my cat? It's like, I can't promise that because there's so many cats already. So I might close the forum, get through all or most of the cats, and then I'll reopen it at a later date. But regardless, Mousepaw is a dark brown tabby who uses she, her pronouns and has amber eyes. She's actually a character from Noah's own Warriors Challenge that they've been playing over on Tumblr, and the day that I wrote this script, they had just finished Season 1, and the day that I'm recording this is the day that Season 2 began, actually. She wants to protect the cats that are seen as weak, and she likes to talk to herself, and she fears death. And because she's a Patreon cat, you're going to see her in both the Clans of the Island series and this series, so keep an eye out for her. As for the rest of the cats, Broken Light was the first cat that I worked on, and she was submitted by Echo Dance. And I do need to clarify Echo Dance, because there's a couple people who go by Echo in my audience, and I had no idea which Echo it was that submitted her until I saw a comment on the post that originally showcased her with the other cats in this first batch. So, Echo Dance, thank you. She is a silver trans molly with lavender stripes on her hind legs and green eyes. She's independent, quiet, and skittish. She wants to find someone that she can truly love again. She enjoys daydreaming, exploring ruins, and decorating grave sites, and she fears losing everybody that she knows. According to Echo Dance, her name used to be Fallen Dawn, but asked for her name to be changed to Broken Light after a tragedy ripped away everything she once loved. She's a very morose cat who tries to shield her shattered heart, but can't help but grow attached to everyone anyways. It's almost a shame that such a tragic cat is not going to be in our main clan, but whatever her story is, we'll have to see from the sidelines. Froststorm was next, and he gave me a bit of trouble. Kit described him as having, or being, a massive with bluish... Let me start over. Kit described him as being massive with bluish-gray swirls all over his coat, and I don't really have any proper swirling patterns at all. So I just tried a couple of different marble-ish tabby patterns, but the closest I could get was using this one and then covering it with large white markings and leaving gaps over the areas that looked kind of swirly. He's a tom and uses he/him pronouns, but is infertile. He's friendly, quiet, and skittish, and he wants to find somewhere he truly belongs. He likes to cheer up other cats, and he doesn't like to see others sad, and apparently he is also an ex-loner. He is a handsome cat though, and I hope I could do justice to his pattern. NobleWing was submitted by Frosty, and oh boy, this Tom really intrigues me. He's described as a black calico with lots of reddish orange and white spots. Basically an inverse of your usual calico. His face is divided with one half being black and the other being white, with the bottom half being that same orangish color. And all of that makes his green eyes really stand out. He's aggressive, a genius, and proud, and wants to take what he feels is rightfully his. I cannot talk. He enjoys being the center of attention, and he fears never accomplishing his goals. And a cat this ambitious really intrigues me, and again, I'm wondering why this first batch has so many cats that are in a completely different clan than our main clan. Because I would love to see what events you guys come up with for these guys, so we can pop back in and see what their story is. It's going to be fascinating. Just amazing. The first cat in the second batch that I worked on was Hedge, who I decided to give the warrior name Hedge Freckle. They're a cat submitted by Mushy, and they use he, they pronouns, and they're also infertile. He's described as a fluffy black cat with green eyes and green freckles, and I don't know how visible those freckles end up turning out, but I think he turned out pretty adorable. They're independent, neat, and quiet, and he wants to help everybody he comes across even if it ends up hurting him. They like exploring new areas to try and find new plants and rocks to bring back to the clan, and they're afraid of being alone and losing everyone they care about. He doesn't want to mate, but would not mind adopting kits. And I'm gonna be honest, before I decided to add him to the leader/deputy pool, I almost wanted to make him the healer. But I decided not to because there's another cat who was literally designed to be a healer way later. White Joke was submitted by Hyena, and while I think he was meant to be a loner or something, he came up while I was drawing the random numbers, so he's part of EchoClan. He's a cat who uses he/him pronouns and is described as being a lanky white cat with green eyes and a green stripe that runs from his forehead to his tail. The stripe gave me just the tiniest bit of trouble, but ultimately it was pretty doable. Just had to make sure it was positioned right so that the tail wasn't half white and half green on the wrong axis, but in the end, turned out fine. He's adventurous, playful, and a genius. He wants to teach others what he's learned from his travels. He loves to play pranks on others, and he fears being used against his will. If he wasn't explicitly described as wanting to travel all the time, I'd probably have added him to the leadership pool. But here's our traveling prankster. Poppy Seed is a Molly submitted by Autistic Gamer Girl and uses she/her pronouns. She's a brown tabby cat with black on the tip of her tail, and she was born blind. There is some white on her that wasn't part of her original design, and I'm very sorry for that, but I can easily go back and remove it if that's what you want. My thing when making blind cats is that instead of giving them cloudy eyes or gray eyes or anything like that, I use a cat eye slider that I downloaded years ago to give the eyes more of an unfocused look. Their eyes will still move in the direction of whatever they're paying attention to, as that's how the idle animations work in this game, but they don't quite focus. I think it's also more in line with how being blind works in real life. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I genuinely want to make sure I'm doing justice and not offending anybody with this. She is independent, quiet, and shy, and she wants to prove that she can take care of herself and her clanmates. She likes spending time with the kids and telling them stories, and she hates being alone. She was submitted with a whole backstory that does include some cats who don't exist in this clan, but basically, she was the only surviving kit in her litter, and her mother became overprotective of her upon learning of her blindness. Some of the other cats would tease her, but she wouldn't take it to heart, and she spent most of her apprenticehood taking care of the kits. She is a very pretty cat in the end, and maybe we'll see her around in the background at some point. Ink Stripes is a Tom submitted by Perlite Paper Knife. He's slender with large pointy ears and short hair, and is described as white with black mackerel tabby stripes. So basically a silver tabby. He also has black rimmed ears and gold eyes. He's a genius, playful, and proud, and he wants attention and fame. He wants his name to be known. He enjoys the sleight of paws kind of magic and putting on a show for others, but not the real deal. And he hates being irrelevant or ignored. He doesn't think highly of magic, considering it cheating or low effort compared to his more skillful tricks, and he has this flexible moral compass and will take negative attention over no attention, so long as he's still in control. And I do look forward to seeing how he interacts with some of these cats in this clan. Or I guess we might not see it, but we'll know secondhand, if you guys give events, of course. Snowflake Fall is submitted by CrookedStar24, and she's described simply as a pale gray spotted silver tabby. I'll be honest, I don't know if they meant a proper silver tabby with very dark or black spots, or my old own misconception back when I first read the Warrior books, when I used to think silver was just very pale gray. Regardless, I decided to give the pale gray base as requested and then used dark spots for her being a silver tabby. Her traits are clueless, hunter, and neat, and she wants to find somewhere she truly belongs. She enjoys debating cats on philosophy, but is really bad at it, and she hates having to work hard and despises bugs. And then there was Opal. Though shy, the person who submitted her said her warrior name would be Violet Leaf. Or should I say Violet Star, since she very narrowly won the leader poll before I cut it off. I did actually just look at the poll again while writing the script, and it does look like Hedge Freckle is now in the lead, but at the time I made the decision, Violet Leaf was in the lead by 2%, so she stays leader. She's Violet Star, for Hedge Freckle can be her deputy. Anyways, she has a white base with red stripes on her back and purple ears with red paws. She has one purple eye and one yellow eye, and it is, honestly, a very fun look. She's destructive, a hunter, and proud. She wants her family and friends to respect her, and she wants to live a carefree life. This alone would not have put her on the leader poll, but she does like to strike fear into her enemies, having fun with the other cats, and she enjoys the pleasures that come with the company of others, and does not care about the potential consequences that can come from that. She also fears losing battles and being forced to make commitments. As far as being leader goes, she's going to be pretty interesting. Her and Solar Star are both going to be competing for most hands-off leader, I think. She's probably going to leave the clan in Hedge Freckle's care, because, again, Hedge Freckle's her deputy. Her parents died when she was young, so she had to fend for herself for a while, before apparently joining EchoClan and becoming their leader. Whatever happens, I think it's going to be very interesting to see her around. And finally, we have Thunderflutter. She's a trans Molly who uses she/her pronouns, submitted by Quilatra. She's fluffy, stocky, and white with bluish-gray accents, specifically on her ear tips and one front paw. The real troublesome part was her tail, which is half bluish-gray, but with a white lightning-shaped stripe, which did not want to cooperate. And I still think it looks pretty bad, but I did my best. She also has dark blue eyes. She's independent, neat, and quiet, and wants to have a neat, orderly life. She likes plants and watching, maybe not the northern lights, because they're not really a thing in Dragon Valley, but there is a lighthouse in the distance that can be pretty calming to watch, and there are many lots set up to have will-o'-the-wisps flying around. She also hates when other cats put themselves in danger by being stupid, careless, or thoughtless. Quilatra also said that she'd theoretically be a healer, so yeah, we can do that easily. She's a healer of EchoClan. Boom, done. And with that, those are the cats of EchoClan. The main thing I wanted to playtest, in all honesty, was the functionality of the water and being able to fish, and I also had to set the trans cats to be trans, of course. But in the end, I think these guys all turned out great. I know I struggled to make this territory, but I do genuinely enjoy the way it all looks, and I can tell EchoClan is going to have some pretty interesting stories, even if we are not focused on them at all to see them play out. But that's where you guys come in. Your job in this series, the whole point of this series, is that you guys are going to be submitting ideas for me to add to my generator, little events that can happen behind the scenes, or even during gameplay, and I will have those events play out. Whether, like, they're not going to be like full machinima scenes like I do with Clans of the Island, but here in Fate in Your Paws, I will, like, have cats talk to each other and, like, explain what their argument may be about, or if cats are like suddenly have fallen in love, I'll like have that happen in game. But everything is in your guys' control. You guys have to tell me what you want to see happen, and it will be added to my generator. And that can, not just for Ruin Clan, who we're going to be playing as, but also for Wild Clan and EchoClan here. And I did say this was going to be a shorter video, and I can't think of much to say that I haven't already said. I did kind of rush through writing the script, and it's almost midnight at the time I'm recording this, so I think I'm gonna leave this here. But if you're anything like me, I'm sure you want to see me get out there and just play the game as soon as possible. So I'm gonna leave you guys all here, and when we come back, the game will properly begin, and we will begin with Ruin Clan. So I'll see you guys all in the future. Stay safe out there, everybody.